Hi, people. I'm Diana, and I've got huge problems. My worst enemy has sniffed out my and my mom's greatest secret. And if she shares this information with our neighbors, we're done for. I'm only 15, but I've long been accustomed to an independent life. You see, my mom works in another city, and she usually comes home only twice or 3 times per week. Of course, a friendly neighbor is keeping an eye on me, and Mom often calls me. But still, most of my time I stay at home all alone with our cat and a couple of dogs to keep me company. Our family consists of Mom and me. We love each other very much. Mom is my best friend, and we have no secrets from each other. I don't know anything about my dad. Mom once told me that he ran away before I was born. And Mother has never tried to find another life partner. She has a very difficult personality, you see. When Mom was still very young, she had a huge quarrel with her parents and left home. Due to the dad's escape, I don't really know anything about his parents. So as you can see, my mom and I received zero help from any elders. It was very difficult for Mom to raise me alone during the first few years. But today, our family has no financial problems. Our neighbors helped us a lot. We live in a small town. Everyone here knows each other well, and the locals are always happy to help a friend in need. The neighbors looked after me when I was a small child, and my mom worked 3 jobs. Even today, a couple of neighbors cook me dinner and help me with lessons when my mom's away on work. Mom's got a nice, profitable job. When she found it, she let out a sigh of relief. Now we have enough money for all the needs, but most importantly, my mother has enough time to spend with me. Yes, she's often away from home, but when she is here, we stay together all day long and don't ever tire of each other's company. Mom's previous jobs drained all her energy and time, but now everything's more than great. Locals think that Mom has her own business in another city, and that's the reason of her constant travels. They say she doesn't want to move from our cozy town, but can't really manage the business remotely. Only I know what she really does for a living. At one time when we were in a money pit, my mother had no choice but to become a webcam model. Of course, she performed with a mask on her face, but Mom suddenly discovered that she was really cool at dancing along the way. One of the viewers of Mom's stream turned out to be quite a big shot in the pole dancing business. Impressed by her talent, he got in touch with my mom and helped her get away from the webcams and find a job worthy of her gifts. That's how my mother became a pole dancer in the most popular nightclub of my home country. She performs irregularly, but the audience is simply awed by her. When the owners of the club schedule Mom to dance, there's always a full house. Accordingly, Mom makes a lot of money. She makes sure we'd never starve again. Of course, Mom still performs with a mask on her face. She also comes up with a variety of stage costumes for each of her performances so that she could definitely not be recognized. Our town is small. The locals are very puritanical. If the neighbors knew what my mother was really doing for a living, they would surely come for us with torches and pitchforks. No one besides me knows the truth. As I've mentioned before, Mom has no secrets from me and told me everything when I was 8. Fortunately, I'm not the most talkative girl in the world. Therefore, I kept my mom's secret until recently. I've got a few real friends and almost no enemies. There's one person in the whole school whom I really dislike, and in our case, the feeling is mutual. Everyone knows about love at first sight. Well, in the case of Alice and me, we have actually the opposite situation. From the day we first met at school, we could not stand each other. We used to maintain armed neutrality. But recently, Alice decided to go on the offense. You see, my enemy has a photographic memory. Even if she sees something only once, she'd never forget it. And a couple weeks ago, Alice accidentally walked in on her older brother browsing an adult site. Apparently, he was watching a record of one of Mom's performances. Alice has met Mom before, maybe only once or twice, but my enemy still remembered everything perfectly. Alice is a smart and observant girl, I'll give her that. She told me that she recognized my mom by the 5 very distinctive moles on her neck, and I tend to believe that. Actually, I made a very stupid mistake. When we were in the schoolyard and Alice told me about her suspicions, I couldn't just say that she was crazy and denied everything. But Alice's revelation really surprised me. I flinched, and my enemy noticed that. That's how Alice recognized that she actually discovered a gold mine. Good thing Alice is smart. If she were a little bit dumber, she would tell all of her information to our neighbors. That'd spell the end of my mom and me. But my hated classmate acted cunning. She realized that I was shocked by her information and gave me an ultimatum. Either I did whatever she wanted me to, or all the information about my mom would go directly to the school's parents' council and the teachers' council. Alice vowed to make my mom and I outcasts if I would disobey her. She's got several pictures of my mom, a video with her dance, and she also wrote a thorough analysis on the situation. A whole lot of blackmail material, if you ask me. I was horrified. The situation turned out pretty disgusting. Either I was going to become the personal slave of my worst enemy, or she would raise the whole city against me and my mom. I had no way out. I agreed to Alice's conditions, and now I'm forced to do whatever she wants. Fortunately, my enemy has a weak imagination. Someone else would have started humiliating me in every way possible. Alice, meanwhile, just forbade me to wear makeup and also ordered me to do all the creative homework tasks for her. You see, my enemy loves hard science but simply hates writing essays. As a side effect of my troubles, I got to know Alice better, and it turns out that I got very lucky with the enemy. I do understand that sounds pretty strange. Well, I'll explain it better. I'm happy that Alice has a weak imagination. She's pretty boring as a person. Guess that was the reason she forces me to write her essays. I usually write one short essay in half an hour, and Alice usually spends the whole evening working on it. Fortunately, my enemy honestly believes that others have the same problems with creative writing as she does. Of course, she wants to make me suffer. Therefore, she pawns all of her creative homework on me. Good thing is that I deal with the tasks much faster than she thinks I do. Of course, my tasks are not limited to doing her homework. For example, I do the cleaning for her too. On the weekend, Alice's parents usually go away on business and she's left at home. And each time they do so, they order her to do the general cleaning. Of course, that task now falls on my shoulders. Unfortunately, Alice is cunning enough as to not allow me into her room. There, she does the cleaning herself. I bet that room has something that could be used to free me from the enemy. Yet, I'm not going to trick her and sneak into her room anytime soon. I really hope Alice would leave me alone one day. Also, now that I've got no money, Alice takes every cent my mom sends to me for herself. Well, my foe isn't that cruel. I have enough for food and rent, but nothing more. And Alice herself now buys herself anything she wants and lives like a queen. She had almost no friends before, but now people flock to her like she's a fish in the sea. The only good news is that Alice does not tell her newfound buddies anything about my mom. So yeah, I got pretty lucky with such an enemy. Someone else would definitely blurt everything out by now. And then my life would have become hell on earth. But Alice still keeps silent. However, for the time being, I've got other worries. Alice's friends notice that I follow her every order, and the whole school knows that we used to be enemies. So now they're providing her with new ideas for tormenting me. However, I'm delusional. With time, Alice will understand that I haven't got much choice, and then she's going to get her hands completely free. The worst thing is that I can't tell anybody about the situation, and I have no one to give me advice. My mom's working overtime now, and she'll be back home only in a month, and I don't want to tell her anything by phone or via the internet. And I simply can't trust something like that to those I call friends. Recently, I found out a way to get rid of Alice. So far, I'm pretending to be very sick. Alice, of course, tried to make me come to school, but I successfully imitated a completely hoarse voice, called her, and bluntly stated that it was impossible. My foe does not want to lose her slave, so she's waiting for me to recover. Unfortunately, I can't stay home under the blankets forever. I told my mom that I wasn't really sick, but I shrugged off everything as having problems at school. Naturally, Mom allowed me to do so. She understands that sometimes I need to take a break from school. But I'm already sick and tired of hiding from the neighbors who are supposed to look after me in her absence. As I've mentioned before, our town is small, and rumors go around quickly. If one of the neighbors understands that I am not sick and I have no fever, she will instantly share her suspicions with the whole city. This information will quickly reach Alice, and I can't even imagine what she would do when she figures out that I tried to deceive her. So now I'm constantly nervous. If I make even a small mistake, everything is doomed. Either Alice razzes my life to the ground, or she'd allow the neighbors to do so. I'm not sure that even Mom would be able to cope with the situation. It'd be a pity to leave our old life behind and move to another city. but I'm afraid that we have no other choice. Have you ever been trapped in a desperate situation? If so, share your experience in the comments. Maybe your pieces of advice would help me get rid of this humiliating slavery before my mother arrives. I look forward to your stories.